role and responsibility, and which technology currently are you working? Okay, please start.
Yeah, so currently I'm working with the ENY. So there I'm associated. I've associated with three clients basically. So current client is Wells Fargo. So here I was working on one soft check deployment process. So where developers will commit a code changes, and before going for actual deployment, it will check for all the vulnerabilities scans, and then it will check. It will give the status, overall status as pass or fail. So based upon that, it will allow for deployment. Otherwise, it will not allow for deployment. So basically we have made use of Spring Boot microservices to implement that. And prior to this, actually we have worked upon payment portion, like payment matching and approval portion, acknowledging payment portion. So created REST APIs for that. And prior to that, I've worked with CGI. So I have worked upon their own product. So there also I've made use of Spring Boot. And prior to that, I was working on one startup basically. So yeah, so
So, how many year of experience do you have?
around 6.10 years.
Okay, 6.10 years. So, and microservices.
uh, Around 4.5 years.
Okay, and Spring Boot
5 years.
and Java is a 6.10, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and worked on any Kafka, Apache Kafka and Confluent Kafka.
Kafka actually it is being used in a project, but I have particularly not worked as much. So it was implemented, so I was just going through that flow.
So, have you worked any messaging tool apart from Kafka, RabbitMQ, ActiveMQ?
Uh, no, basically I was working upon REST template part to send data synchronously. So in Kafka, it is in our current project. It was about to
Okay,
implement. It was about to get implemented. Yeah.
okay, no problem. Let's start with the
Hello.
so immutable class. Hello, what is immutable class? Start with the Java. What is
Yeah.
immutable class?
A class is said to be immutable when we are assigning one object to that particular reference, and then when we are trying to assign a new value for that reference, it will create a new object altogether. So it will not make changes to the existing object. So that is the immutable property. So string is immutable by nature. So yeah. So whenever we are trying to append anything or modify that particular object, it will create a new object, and it will not modify the existing object.
Okay, so how you can create actually? I want to create my own custom immutable class. So how you can what is
Yeah.
the point actually?
Yeah, so first of all, we need to have the class as final so that no other class can instantiate it, and then sorry, inherit it. Then
Sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
first of all, we need to make a class as final so that no other class can inherit its properties. Then we have to create the data members as private and final so that if once initialized, then no other members can access and change the values. Then we need to have only getters. There should not be any setters. And then all those mutable fields should be final. That is the thing. And then for the collection objects are there. For that we need to return the cloned value basically, so that the immutable property is maintained.
What is cloned value means? What do you mean? What do clone?
Yeah, basically we need to create a new object out of it rather than returning the existing object basically.
So could you please in which place we have to write this in constructor or some
Yeah,
other place?
yeah, within constructor we can create a instance, and then we can return it.
So we have to getting at the time of getter side, no? So at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time
yeah.
getter we
Within,
can change
yeah,
that.
yes, yes. Within getter, we can create a clone of it and return. And in the constructor, basically, you can create a new instance and then set it into the existing reference, array list reference or set reference, or else you can create a new object of array list within that, and you can assign the values within that. That we can do within constructor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which clone actually which copy we are using? Deep copy or shallow copy? There is a two type of copy. Which one we have used here?
Basically, we are using deep copy here.
So what is deep copy and shallow copy?
Yeah, so Shallow copy means whenever we are assigning the particular value to the reference of the class, and then there will be like one more reference which is being created for that particular class, and then the initial reference is pointing to the new object of new reference of that same class. So in that case, what will happen if we are making any changes to the new reference value, the older reference values will also get changed basically. So that should not happen. So that is the case of shallow copy. So in the case of deep copy, basically what will happen, we will create a new object reference for that every time. So with the help of that, if we are making change in the latest object reference for that class, so it will be made changes only in that particular object, not in the prior objects. So that's why deep copy is preferred.
Oh, so in Java, what is interface?
I'm not able to hear you. Can you repeat once again?
Marker interface. Have you heard about that? Marker interface. What is marker interface?
Yeah, marker interface is an
Hello,
interface.
I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you're audible. Sometimes you are breaking. So no, now you're audible. Yeah, so marker interface is an interface which doesn't have any method definition or declaration or anything within that. So basically, with the help of marker interface, with the help of that, we signifies that there is some behavior and there is some characteristic associated with that particular class. So the example for that are serializable interface, which is the marker interface. So it signifies that that particular class is meant to get serialized. So we are means having default serial version UID. So it actually helps in versioning while serialization as well as for deserialization to check the version whether it's the same class or not. So it acquires certain characteristic and behavior for that. So that is the marker interface.
So can we create our own marker interface?
Mm,
Can we create
yeah.
our own custom marker interface? What is use of that?
So if we create our own marker interface, then we can add certain behaviors to it. So uh,
But we have ID thing, no? We don't have any method. So how we can add the behavior?
so basically, we can create a class implementing that marker interface, and then within that we can have some versioning or some added functionalities in that.
Version? No, no. Versioning is for only specific for the JVM, no? JVM is understandable. Okay, this is clonable.
Your voice is breaking.
Hmm, yes, correct. In the marker interface, but what proper?
Hello.
Oh, sorry. Still, my voice is breaking.
Now it's fine.
My voice still getting a hello.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Actually, you mentioned that the versioning. Yeah, you mentioned that versioning, but versioning is happen for the only serializable, na? We have a clonable. Clonable is not doing any versioning, correct?
Yes,
Clonable
yes,
also is a marker interface.
yes, yes. Yeah.
So that is different property. But I am creating my own. So I don't have any property, na, correct?
Yes, yes.
So how is the JVM understand for the clonable? But in our interface, it will any use case, anything use case we have when we using our marker interface own created. No.
Use case means we are making use of existing marker interfaces like clonable and serializable, but I haven't created
Okay.
externally our own marker interface.
Okay, okay. You mentioned that serializable deserialization. You mentioned that the converting and versioning
Hmm.
all this thing can correct.
Yeah,
So what is externalizable? There is one more thing is added: serialization, deserialization, and externalization.
yeah.
What is that?
So if a class is extending externalization class, then in that scenario, if we have to means basically not allow. multiple fields to persist into the database and serialize it. So to block the serialization and to not allow the data to get to field to get persisted in database. So for that, I think we can make use of externalization. So for
So that is the transient, na? We use the transient keyword for that. We have to not do serialize.
yeah, that is
But here is our
for
serialize. Yeah.
yeah, that is for
If we
one
put the
field.
yeah,
If you are putting for one
if we
field or
put
two
this,
field, yeah. Hello?
we have to use the transit keyword, na, for that. But here is we have to extending or implementing our class serialization,
Mhm.
externalization.
Yeah, basically means if one or two fields we need to prevent it from persisting, then we can make use of transient. Let's suppose there are 10 fields or 20 fields that we should avoid to persist in DB. Then in that scenario, we can make use of externalization.
So you said that ki only for the preventing purpose we are using externalizable.
Um, yeah, for basically for stopping that those fields to get serialized and stopping the data to get persisted in DB. So basically for these two
Okay.
reasons.
No, no, not only for the there is a custom means we have a custom serialization. We have a more control better than serialization. Okay, let's go for the another question. Uh, have you worked on multi-threading?
Yeah, somewhat. I have worked.
Okay. So you know the concept of the locking concept.
Uh, Yeah, so basically in that case, we can make use of a synchronized block. So within that, if there are like multiple threads acting on those resources, so we can create synchronization for those particular block, and we can have wait and notify process. So that if one thread is working, then another thread will be waiting, and then that thread will be acquiring the object lock on that resource. So
Okay.
like that.
And there is yeah, that is a block label, correct? Method label and block label. There is
Yes.
one more thing, is a lock interface. Have you heard about that? Lock interface.
Yes, I've heard of it.
What is lock interface?
Basically, with the help of lock interface, it locks the entire process for which we are writing the functionality. So, whenever we are writing the method, we can lock that particular process. So, there are various types for that, like read, write, lock, and reintent lock mechanism. So, uh,
Okay.
during the write process, the lock will be created on that functionality, and then as if someone else is trying to write again, so it will be still in lock position. So we have to make use of unlock method, so that after completion of that task, it will notify, and then unlock method will be called, and then
Okay.
again write method will be executed.
Okay. There is one more thing is that there is a re you mentioned that re-intent lock. So what is a fair lock and re-intent lock? What is fair lock?
Fair lock. I think it is a kind of optimistic type of locking where it will assume the locking happening on that particular resource. It will behave properly and in sync, and it will give the proper response. But if it doesn't give the proper response, then it will try to manage the resource, and then it will try to
No,
lock the
no,
data.
here is yeah, there is a request and response is why it coming. It is the only basic we have to focusing on the locking, na. So why it's response we have to saying. Locking means what? We have to multiple thread to doing operation or you are doing some lock, correct?
Yes, yes.
So what is the response here actually in the intent lock? Okay, no problem. You mentioned that read write lock. What is the read write lock?
So, with the help of read write lock, basically it locks the entire resource where the functionality is written to write the data into a file or onto a database. So, it will the write process get locked during the time that it's actually processing the data, like reading the data or writing the data into a file. So, during that process, the resources will be locked. Then after execution of it, then there will be like within private resources we'll be writing. So there's lock dot lock method is there, then lock dot unlock method is there. So when unlock method is executed, then the resource will be released, and then another thread will come and it will try to acquire the lock. So it can do read operation or it can do write operation. So based upon that thread it will work. uh, but read
Okay.
operation can occur concurrently as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So do you know in which place we are using read write lock? Which collection?
I'm not sure on that
Have you heard
also.
of the concurrent hash map?
Yes, yes. Okay, it has no problem. Okay.
Okay, so concurrent hash map using internal locking. So do you know there is a three argument we are passing as when we creating concurrent hash map? Concurrency label, bucket size, and there is a load factor. So what is the meaning of the concurrency label in concurrent hash map?
Uh, Concurrency level means like how many threads are parallelly acquiring the lock on the specified number of
Yeah,
buckets. So it will be like
correct.
16. So four thread will work. So four works. Yeah.
So what happen? I will put the as a eight as a argument. By default is 16. If I pass the 8, then what happen?
Then eight thread will start working parallelly. So it will create a lock on that bucket, and then it will start
Only
working.
8 or it will be 8 block or what happened the remaining 8? There is a total 16 bucket, correct,
Yeah,
by default.
yeah. All will be
But we
open.
have a oh,
Yeah, all will be
yeah.
open for other threads to acquire the lock on those resources. But uh, at that point of time, eight threads will come parallelly, and it will create the lock on that bucket and it will start working. But if some other threads are coming and trying to acquire the lock, then for other buckets it can acquire. But on those eight threads, sorry, on those eight buckets on which already existing eight threads are working, so there it will not allow to parallelly acquire the lock and then write something. So that is not allowed. But the free block buckets, other threads can acquire the lock and work.
Okay, okay. Let's go for the another. Have you worked on Spring Boot?
Yes.
Okay. So in Spring, the Spring Boot, how internal is at the red Spring Boot annotation, it will work. Spring Boot application internally work.
Yeah, so basically it considers three major components. So at that configuration, at that enable auto configuration, and there is a component scan. So it basically automatically configures all the dependencies present in the class part, so that we don't have to manually configure the data with respect to the dependencies that we are putting. So it basically reduces the configuration related task from the human side, so that they can focus upon writing the business logic, and it will be like a rapid application development type of process will be there. And then at that component scan, basically it scans for all the components which are eligible to get injected as a bean by the Spring container at the runtime. So at runtime, basically it eagerly loads all the beans and it scans for all the components. So that process happens at runtime.
Okay. The what is difference between the YAML and property file?
Yeah, actually, both are used to write the configurations for all the features like or any other Hibernate features. So, but with the help of application dot properties, we can have key value pairs only in string format. But in application dot YAML, we can have any type of data as a value part. Like you can have any object or integer or string or any other thing. In application dot properties, basically every time we have to repeat the key. So let's suppose we are writing spring dot data source dot user, spring dot data source dot password. So few fields will be same, but we have to repeatedly write. But in case of YAML, if common fields are there till some part, we have to write once, and then we have to write only the changeable part in separate lines by proper making proper indentation. So that is the thing. And
Okay. In Spring JPA, there is an annotation at the rate transactional. Have you heard about that?
yes, yes, I've heard of it.
So what is the there is a two type of property we have to pass, propagation and isolation label. What is propagation label and isolation label in transaction? And what is transaction actually transaction?
Yeah, so basically with the help of added transactional, we can manage the actual transaction which is happening with the database. So we can have multiple transactions like save, update, delete. So those are kind of modifiable transactions. So in that scenario, it will just check that if the transaction is happening properly or not with database. Like if save operation is happening properly or not. So it will actually lock the entire method till the entire process gets executed. So if we are not using a transactional and then we are debugging, and when save method gets executed, then suddenly we will see in database data gets saved. But if we are writing a transactional and then we are debugging and seeing, then after execution of save method, data will not get saved in DB. So till the entire method gets executed and the flow gets complete, then only data gets saved in DB. So this is the flow for a transactional. Then propagation level, basically the flow of the transaction, how the transaction is getting propagated from one method to another method, and then saving to DB and then propagating back to the caller methods. So that is the entire propagation basically. For
The
isolation,
type of different type of propagation level. You have to add the property correct different levels.
yeah, propagation level. I think fetch or eager might be there. I'm not getting exactly.
No, no, that is not. That is something required. Have you heard about that?
Propagation type dot
Required,
required.
required.
Yeah,
Yeah,
propagation type dot required, like that will do it.
yeah. Propagation dot required. Propagation dot required new. What is the meaning of required? Required new, nested, never. Have you heard about these properties in propagation? No problem. Go for the isolation level. Could you please explain the isolation level?
Yeah, so basically, with the help of isolation level, it actually isolates that particular component from other components, so that there is no irregular output data. So there should not be any data inconsistency. So to avoid that, we can make use of isolation. So isolation is of various types, like read, commit, read, uncommit. So dirty reads happening, then serializable is there.
Oh,
So these are the
okay,
isolation.
so you mentioned that serializable. What is the serializable? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, what is serializable? Hello. I'm
Basically,
audible?
yeah, you're audible.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so basically with help of serializable, it checks that particular resource where data is being read or write. So it is being consistent or not in the entire process. So let's suppose one thread is coming and has written something to the resource. So it will during serialization process, it will uh, means it will convert those Java object into stream of byte, and then it will just try to match the content, so that if another thread is trying to modify the data and commit, so data may get changed basically. So with the help of serializable, we can have a check on that. Whatever data is being written and then whatever data is being read is in sync basically.
Mm. Okay. So have you worked on microservices, correct?
Yeah.
So in microservices, how you manage your fault tolerance actually in microservices?
Yeah, so we can handle fault tolerance with the help of circuit breaker design pattern basically. So if suppose there are three services, so A service calling B, B is calling C. So at certain scenario, let's suppose C is not giving the response, and then it will actually block the main execution flow, because A is waiting for B, B is waiting for C. So in that scenario, in the properties file, we can basically add this retry attempts for that circuit breaker, like how many times you want to call the C microservice to get the response. and then basically we can import a package for circuit breaker like Spring Cloud circuit breaker. That package we can import, and then we can actually have a call between the microservices, and then we can wait till C service is returning the data. So it will try for 3 attempts. So, like it, the response is coming as 200 okay or not. So if it is not coming, then it will give the default message to the microservice B, like microservice C is down. So that will be propagated to the response, basically the final response.
Okay. So what is a state? A different type, different state in circuit breaker. Do you know that?
Different state. So so first actually it will try to connect with that another service. So
No, no, no.
it will create a
Something like
connection.
half open, open,
Yeah, first,
half open,
yeah,
open and close.
okay.
What is half open?
Of open. Sorry.
Open and closed.
Yes, initially the circuit will be open basically, and it will try to connect with it. So if the response is coming 200, okay, so the circuit is considered as closed then, and then response will come. But if after 3 attempts it is response is not coming, so it will be open basically, and it will not give 200 okay from C microservice. So in that case, it will become open, half open. I'm not getting.
In a open, we will get a response or not in open state.
No, will not get
So what about the half open?
half open.
There is a half state, no? Something like that.
I think few
Half your
response will.
five requests you're calling and three is not available. Three is responding and two is not responding.
Yes, 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 yeah.
Three is, yeah, that case is half open, no? Okay,
Okay.
okay, no problem. What is a service registry
Uh,
in microservices?
yeah, in case of service registry, because it actually registers all the microservices which we have created for the entire flow process basically. So it is the place basically where we are registering all the microservices.
Okay, which service registry you are using in your project? Have you used any service registry?
There are certain services still like Eureka and Fiend client containing the URLs, but in our project actually we are not using that.
So have you used on web client,
No, I have not used.
web flux and web client? Have you heard about them?
Web Flux, I think I have heard, but I haven't worked on
That
it.
web flux is providing the web client. There is a mono and flux. Anything? Are you
Yeah,
heard of
yeah.
that? Mono and
I
flux.
think in Java 17 this feature came like Mono and Flux.
Yeah, there is a dependency. Web flux is provided. New Spring Cloud provide. Okay, no problem. You know what? No issue. Okay. There is a API gateway. What is the role of API gateway?
Yeah, API gateway is basically manages the security part of that Spring Boot application basically. So whenever we are sending the request for login purpose, so it will create a public access token basically, and then it will go to the authentication server. And then authentication server generates the token key. So it will be passed as a content header, and then at the API gateway level, we will be checking that it will check actually okay, whatever token key generated by the authentication server is matching with the public access token key generated in the initial state, so that it will match that it's the same user or not. So after verification of the user, it will allow the endpoint to the front end controller. From there, actually, it will go to the specified endpoint. So like that, it will work.
Okay. So API gateway only for the security.
Uh, Basically, it's for security, and in our project, one of the project we have made use of Mule as one of the API gateway. So it actually whatever data is endpoint is coming from UI, so it will actually check those request parameter URL, the request headers, and then it will actually process the data, and then it will then we can make changes in the URL, and then we can make the make pass the changed URL to the actual endpoint. So like that we have worked for Mule.
Okay, so that is load balancer part also doing API gateway, correct?
Yeah.
So what is load balancer?
Yeah, so load balancer actually, when there are like a lot of requests coming at one point of time, let's suppose there's a big billion day or something like that is coming, so millions of records will get hit at one point of time. So basically, if there are multiple instances of the microservices and all requests are hitting to one microservice, then it will create a load on one service, and then other services are not being used properly. So that is inconsistent behavior basically. So actually, load balancer basically balances the load and will check basically it's like which microservice is not that much busy, so it will try to redirect the request to that particular microservice instance so that all
Okay.
instances works.
Okay. So have you worked on CI/CD Jenkins pipeline?
First, Jenkins file I worked, but for the main scripting part on Jenkins side, so there were DevOps teams separately, and UI side also I worked on a Jenkins UI, like the process of doing the build deployment process.
Or have you worked on JUnit test cases also?
Yes, yes.
So what is which JUnit test cases have you used?
A Mockito we have made use of.
Okay. And what is code coverage?
Yeah, basically with help of code coverage, you can see like how much percentage of code is covered in the project basically. So we are having the code coverage requirement of 90%. So in our local, we can have the Sonar Cube plugin installed in our IDE, and then we can check for Sonar details as well as the coverage of the project, like how which all files is covering how many lines of code. So like that we can see. So the number of green lines will represent those lines are covered.
Okay. Have you worked on any design pattern?
Yeah, singleton design and factory design pattern.
And apart from this, anything from the behavioral or structural? There is a three type: creational, structure, and behavior. Correct.
Yes, yes.
So have you worked on anything from the behavioral and structure?
Uh, I think we have worked upon strategy design pattern. So
Okay. Strategy part of which behavior or structure?
behavioral.
So what is the strategy design pattern?
Yeah, so basically there will be like an interface and which will have the common method functionality which will be there. So we will be having that particular method over there. Then after that there will be like multiple classes we can create for that. Let's suppose there is a credit card, there is debit card. Okay, so both are
Okay.
having different way of transaction basically. So we can have that class implement that interface, and then we can write the logic. Let's suppose for debit process for credit card is different and debit process of debit card will be different. So we can have that method overloaded and we can add our own business logic for both the classes. So, so based upon the strategy, we can design
Okay.
our own classes.
Okay. At the runtime, you're selecting the. You mentioned that factory and abstract factory. What is difference between the factory and abstract factory?
Actually, it creates a factory class. Basically, it creates a layer of abstraction, and there will be like an interface. Okay, so and then there will be classes implementing that interface. So it will allow the subclass to implement like which method we want, and there will be like a factory class basically. So basically, actually that particular factory class creates the instance of those classes which we want. So basically, in that factory class, we can create a method which will accept the instance type, like what type of data you want. So based on that type, we can write switch case and we can return that instance for which the type is matching. And in case of abstract factory, it's like a factory of factories basically. So it will be having a main factory class, and then within that it will be like multiple factories will be created. So let's suppose I'm taking vehicle. So within vehicle, we can have vehicle is a main abstract factory. It's a main factory, big factory. Then there will be two-wheeler factory, three-wheeler factory will be there. And then within the two-wheeler, we can create object for two-wheeler bikes, different brands for two-wheeler bikes, and different brands for four-wheeler bikes. So like that we can do.
Okay. So could you please share your screen? I'll give some small program.
Okay.
Do you know what is binary search tree?
Uh, yeah, binary search tree is a
So,
tree which will have uh, two child nodes basically. So that
okay, no, no, sorry to interrupt you. I want to do binary search actually, binary search algorithm. I want to do write. So you can write, I have a some sorted array. Okay. So
okay,
you can be find the value using the binary search. So that is my question. Sorry for that. Okay.
okay.
So this is my array. I'm sharing in chat box. Okay. So you want to be short, select, search the value, find the value. Okay. Suppose I want 70. So use the binary search and find the value. Okay. So please let me know what is binary search.
So in case of binary search, basically it works on sorted array. So basically it divides the entire array into two parts. Like first part is from starting from start till middle, and another part starts from mid plus one till end. And then it will try to check the target value, what target value we are searching. So if it is like lesser than the middle value, then the mid value, then the end value gets changed to mid minus one. So like that it will, and
Okay.
start position will be same like that.
So could you please open the any Notepad plus or Notepad plus plus or any editor if you have. Okay. So copy this. Yeah, okay, already you copy. So what I want, I can you can just write the program for that binary search.
Which one we need to find? Any target key is there?
Any targeted target value, suppose 70, target value something like 100, whatever. So whatever target value I put, that value I need to find in this array. If not available, you can return okay empty or minus one.
Okay.
Key is your value, na? Why putting inside in array?
Okay. Okay.
Return indexes, no problem.
Can do something like this. Hello.
You need to break somewhere if you find the value.
Yeah, I'm writing here. No, if key is equal to array mid, we are directly returning index.
Oh, okay, your method you're writing. Okay, that method you're calling over there. Okay, and then that's plus one and I made minus one. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks. So, have you worked on Stream API?
Yes.
So, I'll give the simple program. So, in chat box, there is a map.
Have you pasted?
Yeah, it just I'm shared in chat box. Please check. This is the Mac. Open the Notepad Plus. I want to be sorted on the basis of there is an employee object inside a city. I want to basis of the city descending order I wanted. Okay, and my end user also map. My end output, sorry, my end output is a map, but that isn't sorted on the form of city descending order. Key is my integer and value is something employee object using the
So,
stream API.
so descending sort.
Yeah, descending. You have to do map should be descending order. Okay, on the basis of city
Okay.
using a stream API. My output is map. That is also key value. Key is an integer and value is a employee object. Okay. Hello. Your output is list, but I want map.
Yeah, we have to first for sorting. We have to put it in a list, right?
Key is my integer and value is employee, not list of employee.
It's a list of map dot entry.
You're not
I'm
getting my point. My output is what I wanted map on the basis of sorted map I wanted. My value same as it is. Value is integer and value key sorry key is a integer and value is employee.
Yeah, I'm trying to put that map into a list basically, and then I will do sort on that, and then I will put it in a map.
But you are doing two operation. Okay, you can do your way. It's no problem. I will check what you can do. Directly you can do using the stream API. There is a entry set also available map.entryset.stream. You can do that.
Okay. in the output you want these integer values as well as this employee objects, right?
Yes, only I want sorted form. That's it. My output is same, but I want sorted form. First, it will come something ascending order. It's a Bangalore. If descending order, something like Mumbai come first, then Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Bangalore. Sorry, Pune come first, and then Mumbai come second. Third is Delhi, and fourth is Bangalore. You can do anything, ascending or descending. I want just sorted form. I'll give you a hint. You're doing right way. Sorted is correct. You're doing properly, but you have using internally method. You just check on that. Map.entry dot comparing value is available, so you can inside you can do that. That is hint.
Okay. So are these separate classes or normal strings only? So any DTO class created with these values, name, city, like that?
You directly take no object E1 comma E2. What you know the what is comparator work E1 comma E2. Then you, whatever how you can sort it. You know aware
Yeah,
of that comparator operator.
yeah, like this we do. But I need one object, like if it is of city class type, then we can add a dot get city like that. Dot compare to I2 dot get value dot get city like that.
No, I want don't want for each. Okay, that's it. There is something you need to add to map. Okay, no problem. You can check it out. Okay, no problem. Okay, so yeah, Devajit, I have done from my end. Do you have any question?
Yeah. So uh, means what all projects is currently being working upon in COFORGE?
There's multiple project, but I am not aware of the which project you are in. We are hiring for the which project.
Okay, okay, sure, no problem.
Anything else?
Yeah, means any feedback which you can give to me, like where and also I work upon more.
You can work any just basic concept on the Kafka also and microservices. You can prepare means
Okay,
you can work on that Kafka messaging queue and security. Okay.
okay, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Yeah, thank you.